Ubiquitous, ubiquitous. That's what we're talking about today. Ubiquitous. Let me get myself back on here. Okay, ubiquitous. That's what we're talking about today. The definition is present, appearing, and found everywhere. That's what ubiquitous means. Imagine sounds and images so loud and so visible 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, like all the time. You wouldn't be able to think your own thoughts, right? You wouldn't be able to think your own thoughts because be coming from everywhere, hitting you from the side, hitting you in the front, just everywhere. And they were not your priorities. They were not aligned with your beliefs, what it is you chose to be, how you wanted to show up in the world. It was not about you, right? And so you want to learn, as I have, how to shut your big old mouth and how to shut out everything else so that you can think, so that you can know what it is you value and what to you. On these jobs, in this workplace, you're showing up and you're doing whatever it is you're being paid to do, and then you do extra stuff. In the meantime, uh, is that really aligned with your goals? And I'm not saying go out and quit your job. I'm saying knowing whether this particular position you're serving is actually serving you, right? And so this is the Better You Leadership Podcast. It's a journey, ongoing journey for uh, women to become better leaders. And ultimately, when women listen to, use, put into place some of these tips, techniques, these tactics, then you're going to, build your skills and your leadership capacity. You're just going to do it. Just start doing one thing at a time that resonates with you. Like, I'm going to try that, Angela. I'm going to try that, Coach. And so this podcast teaches women the nuances of personal development with the intent of you earning more respect and revenue. So every week, I'm here. My name is Angela M. Odom, and I'm a proven leader. I'm here to offer insights to help you on your journey to becoming a better leader. And that's, you're leading yourself, you're leading others, and you're also leading organizations and programs and projects. And what is leadership? It is influence. As John Maxwell would say, it's influence. As and if you just look up the definition of leadership, you'll find a gazillion of them. The bottom line is the first thing, the first person, the first being you must influence and lead is yourself, right? And so, what does that mean? You need to know what you want, what you need, what you desire. You need to know your own values, your own interests, outside of what your parents taught you, outside of what your boo thing thinks is important, outside of what your children think you should be doing for them, and outside of the people and places that you go and socialize, in a place where you actually earn money to, put together your life. Outside of all those other entities, what is it you want? And I'm just going to tell you, it's okay to want things, to desire things, to require yourself to move forward, to evolve. I'm going to give you permission to move forward, right? To even think about moving forward. I'm going to give you permission to do that today, right? So, this episode of the Better You Leadership Podcast is sponsored by the Odom General Store. And you'll find merch for leaders and items that inspire. You just go to Odom, and my name is Odom. Odom. So go to www.odomgeneralstore.com. All right, let's get started here. Ubiquitous. 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 It's defined as present, appearing, and found everywhere. That's the definition. And you looking there, you see the word quit in there, right? It's like, quit putting all this stuff everywhere all the time on me. Ubiquitous. I think we should know the definition. It refers to something that is found everywhere at the same time. This can be things that are universal by nature, commonplace, or a fashion. It could be like a trend or something, right? You look at it in the term is used in science and math and computing. It's used in computers rather. It's used in all these different areas. So depending upon the context, but the bottom line is it's like whoosh, it's everywhere all the time. Um, and so um, let me see, read this, make sure I get this right for you. I'll get it. Ubiquitous comes to us from the noun ubiquity, meaning presence everywhere or in many places simultaneously. That could be, if you're walking somewhere, if you are like at one of those big recreational parks, with the Ferris wheel and all that kind of stuff, then guess what's going to be ubiquitous? Hot dogs. You're going to see those everywhere. The little kiosk stands, they're going to be everywhere, right? And so you want to scan with your eyes and your ears while you are keeping your big old mouth shut and listening. And then just listen to the messages, the narratives that you are receiving. And if they are not aligned with that which you deem important, then distance yourself from this noise. It's everywhere. I just last week I had the pleasure. It was painful, quite frankly, but it was a pleasure at this point as I'm looking back. I kept my had my 7 and 6 year old nephews for a week. They're from Mississippi. I live in Georgia. This was their spring break, and so they spent the week with their auntie, their TT, right? And I tell you what I realized was there's so many negative images and messages that are everywhere for these little people, these young people, right? So I think it was the first day they were sitting in the back seat, and one of them said, "I'm scared." One of the little boys said, "I'm scared." And I was like, "What? I wonder what's going on." And it was the news. I had the news playing on the radio in the vehicle, and it was talking about the war in Europe. It was talking about the war, and he said, "I'm scared." And so I turned another station, a R&B station, and guess what? The song came on talking about "Lick Me Up and Down." I was like, "Oh my goodness." So I turned the radio off, right? Turned the radio off. Little boy, my little nephew was not back there shaking and whining and panicking. He was just like, "Ooh, that's a lot. I'm not supposed to hear that, lady. Hello. I know it's been a long time since you've been around 7 and 6 year olds, but this is inappropriate for me." That's the message he was relaying to me. And then I like to watch a lot of crime shows, all those criminal minds, all those types of detective shows. I like watching those. But guess what? I did not turn the TV on those channels. Matter of fact, I didn't watch a lot of TV last week. And one had a little cell phone, one had his tablet, digital tablet. And so I had to be more conscious and aware of what they were doing with those devices because it's ubiquitous, the amount of negative, persuasive narratives that comes through those devices, right? And so I am here to share the definition with you. I'm not even insinuating that you don't know it, but I am believing that, like me, you're just not aware of the messages, the narratives that are constantly flooding in our face and in our ears. So imagine if we were in a room with four walls And on every wall, there were um, videos, images that were projecting on each of the four walls. And then there were speakers around the walls with sounds and someone um, providing their thoughts, their needs, their directions, their requirements to us. And so everywhere we turn, we hear somebody else's intent for us. We hear someone else's message or advertising to purchase something from them, right? We hear someone telling us about their likes and dislikes about women or men or Americans or whatever it is. It's someone with a message that's just constantly. And then there's so many vile and nasty, mean-spirited individuals and messages and narrative, all meant to divide, all meant to diminish, right? And so we want to be aware of what's coming into us consciously and unconsciously. Ubiquitous. Ubiquitous. That is the word that I want to just have you to look it up for yourself and then look around in your environment because what I found last week with my two nephews, two 6-year-old was what was a remedy to them. One of them had his phone and he was like, I need to have it with me. So I didn't say put that phone down, stop doing that. But what did I do? We went zip lining. You can't have a phone there, but you're having fun, you're laughing. Oh my goodness. We went to the Georgia Aquarium. Didn't need a phone in there because there's so much to do and to engage. We had the opportunity to engage with one another, right? We did taste testing of snacks. We went to the bookstore, met authors, because that's what I like to do, right? But it was books appropriate to their ages, right? And so they were able to engage that way. They didn't need the device. And oh, by the way, the environment was suited for them, appropriate for them, for their ability to laugh and to engage, and to run, and to be active, because that's what your body needs, right? And we went to the trampoline park, Sky Zone. You can have your phone device in there. You don't even want it. You're like, oh my goodness, running and jumping and having a good time. So, what's the antidote to all of these messages, these narratives? Two things I want to gift to you. Two things I want to for you to consider is to live your life outside of these messages and outside of these images. Live your life outside, with people that you enjoy being around. And so also live your life where you're able to carve out time in your busy schedule to think without interruption or distractions, to think, to meditate. And oh, by the way, the 7 and 6-year-old said, "Oh, I'm bored." They said it like one or two times, and they were like, it wasn't that they were bored; it was that they were used to sitting and having the devices provide information to them, right? Ubiquitous. Ubiquitous. So understand that word and make sure that you are very aware of what's happening in your home, right? What's happening with you. So ubiquitous is the word I want you to embrace and understand that the messages that we hear and see are not always aligned with who we are to be, right? So know what you want, know what you need, know what you require. And oh, by the way, understand ubiquitous. I want to say the word over and over and over because I want you to push out the messages that are not good for you, right for you. And I definitely intend for you to create space in your life to think, to meditate, even if it's 15 minutes, 10 minutes, 5 minutes, whatever it might be, so that at the end of the day, at the end of the month, at the end of the quarter, at the end of the year, you have moved and evolved in the direction that you have chosen, have decided to move in, not in the direction that the advertisers want you to move in, not in the direction that your bosses who are intend for you to stay in that one position, right? Do this one thing for them, for the rest of your life. That whole thing within a Better You community, we're focused on showing up for ourselves first and then serving others from the overflow. So understand um, the term ubiquitous, and understand the messages that we are constantly being given. It could be that you like it. You're like, I like that. Like, I'm going to tell you right now, I really appreciate TikTok. My goodness gracious. But guess what? The messages, the time, it's like a big time suck. so, so you have to make sure that whatever it is you might like or love, then, rein that thing in so that you've already served yourself. And now you can just go and, do some mindless, watching of these videos and all this kind of stuff. So that's says no. So I'm not saying don't do it, don't allow it. I'm saying be aware, be aware, be aware. And then, oh, by the way, um, get your things, your priorities done first, right? Get your things done first. So there you go. So leadership was, people, mostly men, mostly white, with formal authority, title, power and wealth. That's what leadership used to be. Like that's so, last year. That's so 1900s, So leadership is people, old, young, experienced, white, black, men, women, inexperienced, people with little money, people with lots of money, people that are wealthy, all of these people with positions and not, no titles whatsoever, entrepreneurs, people with side hustles. Leadership is all of us, you know, because it is about influence, right? It's not about the title. It's not about let me impress you with this. Leadership, you are leading someone right this minute. Someone is so glad that you are serving as a role model to them. And you're thinking, oh my God, I got to get myself together. No, you are together. So think about what it used to look like and now what it is like in our current environment, right? So I'm going to encourage you to communicate the need to develop three things: agency, mindset, and skill set. And so, in the context of ubiquitous and the messages and the narratives that are being thrown at us, how about carve out time and space for your own messages? Agency meaning realizing you can influence your destiny, and you have the confidence to act on that even though you're scared. Do it scared, right? So agency, and then mindset, having a mindset to be adventurous enough to try this new things, or to move in this new direction, or stay in this direction, get yourself more qualified in your own mind, right? And then the skill set, you just want to have um, the skills that are necessary to go in the direction you want to go into, right? So for me, my goal is to be um, an author with a wide body of work. So what should I be doing? I should be writing, right? So I should be building the skills in that direction under that umbrella, right? Writing, reading, working with editors. I should be doing that. That's what, because if that's the goal. So the skills, it's the skills. That's what I'm talking about. So autonomy, I'm sorry, agency, mindset, and skill set. Those three things. So when we start talking about ubiquitous, so the messages that I want to see, or that I believe will help and benefit me, are going to be the messages, in this one lane anyway, of authors. So that's the world I want to be. I want to be inundated with messages about successful writers and authors and platforms and books and bookstores and book owner. I want to be immersed in those types of messages. But guess what? I keep hearing there's so many other things that are coming at me. So I have to carve out the space, right? So that I'm moving in the direction that I intend to move into, that I can learn from and help and work with and collaborate with people who love books, people who love reading, people who love writing, right? So, yeah, if you understand what I mean by that. So, ubiquitous is not necessarily a negative term. It is for you as a leader of yourself to determine what messages and narratives you want to be. But first, you have to be able to meditate and think. So, this is a part of leading yourself. Again, my name is Angela M. Odom. I am the host of the Better You Leadership Podcast, the founder of the Better Project, the brand itself, and author of a couple of books. And more importantly, I'm Ryan's mom. So that's what we talked about today, the definition of ubiquitous. And so I'd love to hear and know, in the comments, uh, what is this? How's this relating to you? And I want to encourage you to always go guard your habits and your routines and your mindset and your time. Guard it. So what we are what we repeatedly do. Excellence then is not an act, but a habit. Of course, that's by Aristotle. So habits are really good. So if you're ready to become a more trusted and effective leader, you can schedule a virtual fit session with me. And you just go to angelaodom.com / leadership capacity, right? angelaodom.com / leadership capacity. Set up a time for you and I to talk through your needs, your goals, and I'll work with you on becoming a better leader on your journey to do this. So the Better You Leadership Podcast is hosted by me. I'm a proven leader, and I'm teaching you the nuances of personal development so that you can earn more respect and revenue along your journey. And of course, as I always tell you, make sure you go to wherever you're listening to podcasts and subscribe. If you want this Apple, Spotify, Google, Amazon Music, wherever it is, make sure you subscribe and make sure you give me a rating of 5. Don't be playing around with no 4, 3, 2, 1s, right? That's a bunch of foolishness. Go 5 ratings so that more people are able to engage and get this goodness. This is all about women leaders. Okay, with that said, you have an amazing day, and may the good Lord continue to bless you and yours. Take care. Oh, let's see what we got here.